For many women, so much about midlife is about doom and gloom and not about possibility. Yes, there's loss. Yes, there's grief, and it is an ongoing transition. And don't get me started on the menopause transition, because that can be truly brutal. But I see midlife as an opportunity, not a crisis, especially for women. It's the premise of my nonfiction book, Piloting Your Life, and it is a foundational pillar of my very first fictional novel called Dear Hazel. I've been wanting to write a novel since I wrote Piloting Your Life, and I even started one about 6 years ago. I started writing it, but I just couldn't pull it together. But one day, her name was Dahlia, will actually exist. About a month ago, I got the idea for Dear Hazel, and it came together in about a day. I pulled together the location, the basic story, the characters, even 2 dogs and a cat. I started writing some of the scenes, including the beginning and the end. The story is so vivid in my mind that I can see it as a movie or I can see it as a series, including a prequel and a sequel. Essentially, it's a playground for me to explore possibility in midlife, and a fictional world for me to explore reinvention. It's set in France at a chateau, surprise, surprise, at an artist in residency program that is run by 2 women who purchased it from another woman who had built the program, renovated the chateau, and run it for a while. That would be the prequel. The specific location I haven't quite figured out, but 7 women are invited every fall to participate in an artist residency program. And these women can be artists or writers. They arrive carrying more than just their physical baggage, and they leave lighter and somewhat transformed. I get to play with some of my philosophies around nourishment, women supporting women, and communal living. So who are these 7 women? Well, I'll tell you about a couple of them. So one of them is a 55-year-old recent widow who was planning her retirement with her husband when he suddenly got sick. She's a school teacher, and they were both looking forward to having the freedom to do essentially what they wanted once they retired. But then he got sick and died. But before he did, he applied to the Artist in Residence program for his wife because he knew she was too frugal to spend the money on her own. And so when she got her acceptance letter, she was surprised by his parting gift. She is a welder and builds sculptures, and she does mosaics. Her challenge is really reimagining what her future is going to look like and what is next for her. Another one of the women who's also in her 50s is a miniaturist. And the reason why she's a miniaturist is really in her house with her 3 kids and her husband, there was only so much space for her. So her world got smaller and smaller and smaller. She recently filed for divorce, and all she told her now ex-husband is that she wanted a condo, a small space of her own, and for him to take care of the kids financially. They're all young adults. Her challenge is to think bigger for herself and to take up more space. Another woman is a 45-year-old woman from Chicago. She's single, never been married. She's a journalist, and she is writing her first novel, and she's terrified. She's been a very successful journalist, but she's worried that she lacks the imagination necessary to write a good novel. She also bakes, which is important because the women are told when they arrive that the chateau should be treated as their own home. They have access to everything, including the kitchen. And every day, instead of writing, she goes and she bakes something, essentially providing yummy, yummy nourishment for all the other women who are there. So, of course, her challenge is to get to writing, which she eventually does with the support of the other women. The rest of the women all have their own art and their own challenges, and that really is going to be the conflict in there. They're going to be individual stories with their individual conflict, maybe some conflict among the women, and that is going to be the basis of the story. But why is it called Dear Hazel? Well, I am a big letter writer, and I believe in the power of letters and written communication. So at the end of the time at their artist program, they are going to be asked to write 2 letters, one to the chateau as a thank you for their time there and to talk about what they learned and what they got out of the program. And the other is for the next occupant of the room that they have occupied for the previous 6 weeks of the program. Some other special things about the story and the chateau. There are little notes of encouragement or quotes from books or articles that are just hidden throughout the chateau and the property. And the women find the notes when they need them. And they get them, they read them, and then they put them back so that some other woman who comes after them will have the opportunity to learn from it, get inspired by it. I think that's just a little bit fun. There's also a table for 10. So there are 2 women who own the chateau and run the program. And there are 7 women who come, and that leaves 1 remaining chair, either for a special guest, and really it represents possibility. Everyone is asked to do some sort of a chore around the place. I mean, there's a chef and there's a gardener and there are people to do the heavy lifting, but everyone's asked to do something, whether it's to set the table before a meal or to go collect eggs from the chickens, to feed the animals, or to pick the veggies or the herbs that the chef is going to need that day. Generally, we women like to be in service to others, and we like the idea of being in community, and I figured that that could feed that because I really strongly believe in the power of women coming together. I am so excited to write this book, and I'm only slightly frustrated that I won't really be able to do any sort of intense writing until I go to a chateau in France in September for 2 weeks of an artist in residency program. In the meantime, I'm reading, I'm trying to get a sense of the style that I want to write in, the tone, the feel. I mean, right now, I want to live in this story. I want to read this book. So we'll see what happens in the 2 weeks that I get to write in September. I do have little notebooks and pens all over the place in my gym bag, on my nightstand, in my purse, in my car, so that if I come up with some sort of an idea, then I go ahead and I jot it down. And then when I get back to my desk, I'm able to transfer it into the major Google structure that I have set up for each of the characters, the location, the scenes that I've written, and for some of the other ideas that I get along the way. What I really love about this project is I get to explore a question that I've been thinking about for quite a while, essentially since I wrote Piloting Your Life. And that is, what happens when we give women the opportunity to explore possibilities without constraints as they design and live a life of their own creation? What happens when these women stop living by other people's expectations? What becomes possible for these women? I am slightly terrified because I have never done this before, but I'm going to go ahead and trust the process and hope that the story unfolds as I have the opportunity to write in September. I'm committed to remaining curious as the story unfolds. I mean, yes, I have the beginning and I have the end, but I have absolutely no idea what's going to happen in between. And that's kind of exciting. It's going to be its own kind of adventure. The question I have for you is, how do you create space for curiosity, experimentation, and exploration? What would you explore or experiment with if you were given the time and the space to do so? I would love to hear from you. So go ahead and let me know either in the comments or go ahead and send me an email at pilotingyourlife@gmail.com. And if you are looking to intentionally create a space to do this kind of work, I would love to have you at the Piloting Your Life retreat in Nicaragua in March of 2027. Dear Hazel is the fictional place for me to explore possibility. The Piloting Your Life retreat in Nicaragua could be yours. Go ahead and send me an email at pilotingyourlife@gmail.com or message me if you want more details. Oh, and they're also available at pilotingyourliferetreats.com. If you could take a moment to go ahead and subscribe to my channel, I would really appreciate it. I am doing weekly videos all summer long, and I am putting out regular YouTube shorts as well. And with that, let go of perfection, take some risks, and above all else, have some fun.